sky. Vengeance in its eyes, vengeance in its eyes. All hope seems to die when he sees your eyes running through the night. Only takes him back, always out of sight, crowding through the night. Run, you can run, but you'll never hide. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming.
Good evening, everyone. Extra Time is back. The show that we unpack all the weekend's action and the week as well. The start of the season has finally been upon us, has come upon us. Manchester City, the Blue Moon, well, they beat us 4-0 at Molineux. We're going to be discussing everything to do with that game and everything in between. And I'm really chuffed that we actually started the show actually bang on time. So thanks to all my guests for getting on early and brilliant, which is brilliant. We have got a great alignment. We've got some phone-ins as well. We're going to be talking about everything to do with the show. Thank you if you're joining us across YouTube, Facebook, or X. Much appreciated. And don't forget, if you want to get involved in the show, you can do. Just get in touch and we can get you the link. Before I get started, as always, I do want to say a massive big thank you to the wonderful, fantastic, super marvelous people at Creation Wolf who support us so well here on the channel. They will take your brand and advanced to basically to another level. Online digital capabilities to the next level. With if you've got a brand, there's a few companies that are already using them. The links in the description below. You can find them on creationwolf.com, local Wolverhampton business as well. Much appreciate for all the support they give us here on the channel. Now, we do have a absolutely fantastic lineup today. First of all, we have got a young man who's got very expressive, has got lots to say, and it's George. How you doing, George Talks?
Yes, Dave. How are we?
Yeah, it was fantastic seeing you after the game yesterday. You come over to us just when we were just about to do our post-match chat, which was fantastic.
Yeah, well, obviously we're walking that way anyway, and I was like, got to say hello to the Dazzle himself. So it's good to see you. Good to see all your family. Good to see them all doing well. Obviously after, not the best of games, but it's nice to be back at the Molineux. Wolverhampton was thriving yesterday, so it's good to see it, mate. It's good to see it.
Absolutely. And we had Mel Eves the week before. We got you this week. Goodness knows who we'll have next week, but it was fantastic. We had some guy over from Spain.
I'm being compared to Mel Eves now, am I? I mean,
why not? Yeah, and we had someone, the chap was there from Spain that had come over, and then before the game at the Temple Street Social, guy came over from Australia and gave my dad a koala bear, which was lovely as well. Fantastic people who are supporters. Apparently, we've got loads of people that watch in Australia. So if you're in Australia, how you doing? Fantastic. Next up to join us tonight, we have Nathan, regular appearance on the show from every other month. Normally we get you on, don't you, Nathan? Looking good, mate.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks, mate. I'm all good.
I'm looking forward to chewing the fat with you on this one. How's your summer been?
It's been good. I'm taking a sabbatical from work, so I've had the last couple of months off. I'm going to have another 2 or 3 months off, and then look for a job and finally get back into work. But it's nice having the summer to do all those jobs that I just haven't had time to do while I've been working. So painting the fences and all the dull middle-aged men stuff that we like to do, porch painting and office realignment. And
wax on, wax off.
Exactly. Middle-aged men unite.
Side to side. And
all that, unfortunately, but maybe one day.
But have you watched the film? You've got to watch the Karate Kids film. In fact, later on in the show, we'll ask everyone their top 3 films.
That's a good one. I'll tell you what, that is a good one. Get the chatting balls as well.
The Karate Kid, George, ain't you?
Never seen it.
George!
Scandalous.
It's a rite of passage. You have to watch that. Listen,
we've got to watch along on the channel.
Well, there you got to do one of that. We've got to do a it's a New member, Andy. Hello, thanks for joining us, becoming an Always Wolves Dazzler. Great to have you join us on the channel. We love when we get new members. Not only does it show your support, you also get your little badges and all that sort of stuff. You get onto the private members chat. We'll put that on the community tab later. So we've got loads on the private members chat. So thanks for becoming a member. They talk about everything and anything on the Discord each week. Anything from football to cricket to music and everything in between. Fantastic. So thanks for joining us, Andy, as a member. And if you do see a little Always Wolves little logo as you're watching this on the YouTube, you'll know that they're a member of the channel. We do thank them for your support. Last but no means least, it is had to have him on, didn't I, for the start of the season show. Come on. It's Super Sooty. Boop, boop. How you doing, mate?
Good evening, people.
Good evening, Sooty. How are you?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Absolutely. And how's your summer been?
Yeah, been pretty good. Just work and mundane things like that, really. But you have to go to work to be able to go to football, Dave, don't you? So
you do. And I've got to say, I don't know whether you guys agree with this or not. Sometimes it seems a very, very long time since the last match of the season to the first match of the season. But this year, it seems to have flown by. It seems to I mean, I did get hooked into watching the Lionesses and stuff like that. But it seems to have come around really quick. I mean, is that just me or has everyone got that?
I think because the Club World Cup and like the Women's Euros, it didn't feel like the football really stopped. You know what I mean? Like there was always football on and then pre-season kind of started, so it just kind of went quick, you know.
Yeah, it's not just me then.
No, I thought it went quick, but it's class because I can't live without football. So
it's been going on for nearly a month for me because I did all the pre-season friendlies.
Yeah, so yeah,
and then went to Spain as well with them. And
tell us about your Girona trip with Cheerful.
Fantastic.
You have a great time.
Yeah, it was brilliant. What a lovely place Girona is. I think we should have a yearly pilgrimage to Girona as a friendly.
I heard that you had a great time and like I think about 5,000 Wolves fans there. But I heard that you accidentally walked into a rave.
Yeah, that was next door to where we were staying. We thought there was live music on, and it's a very medieval town, Girona. And we were staying in this top apartment in this really old sort of 3-story building. And next door was a cobbled courtyard. And as we were walking back late one night, Chris said, I can hear a bit of live music. Well, when we've got round the corner, it's a full-on rave, isn't it? So we went and had a little look, and then we went back and retired into our digs and just had the windows wide open, listening to it for the next 2 hours. So they were enjoying themselves. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. I think that's a great story. That is, to be honest, mate. I think that's a great story that you just literally walked into a rave.
We literally walked into it. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Well, we've got loads to talk about. We're going to obviously, as always, delve in and unpack the game from yesterday, and there are quite a few interesting talking points. But I think it would be only right to start. And let's start with you, Nathan. And I've got a video that Nathan sent in, which I'll play in a little bit. But let's just talk about the tribute to Diogo Jota, the old goal pack. What a job they did. Everyone that donated, the work they put in, the people on the day that chipped in to set it up. It was just absolutely magical and humbling and incredibly emotional, Nathan.
Phenomenal, wasn't it? I think that's the best tribute I've ever seen for a sadly departed Wolves player. We've had players down the years go, before their time. You think of Dean Richards in particular. That one really got me at the time. Although he was at Spurs, they're always a wolf, aren't they? Whenever we lose them, and the Jota tribute, as George was mentioning before we started, if you didn't have a tear in your eye, I don't think you're human. It was just heart-wrenching. Even now, I'm beginning to feel it. It was amazing. And you know, the tribute before the match, Feels a Goal by Sting, which I heard play live. I saw Sting maybe a month or so ago play, and again, that really got me. But the 15-20 minutes after the match, I mean, that's just pure class from Wolves fans in the South Bank, you know, continuing to sing his name. It's just such a sad tragedy. And if I can just mention, I lost one of my friends a couple of weeks ago from suicide. I know Jota was a horrible car crash, but I think it just shows how precious life is, and you know, we have to enjoy. You know, it's a bit corny and maybe a bit cliche, but we have to enjoy and grasp every day, because we don't know what's around the corner as human beings. And you know, I'm going to the funeral tomorrow of a good friend. I'm going in Spurs colours. He's a big Spurs fan. I've got a Spurs lapel. I've got a blue suit and a blue and white tie. You know, he was 52, 4 kids. You know, he had everything to live for, but couldn't escape that sort of mental torture. I know I'm going off track slightly, but my point being that, you know, the Jota thing really hammers home, I think, just how life is so precious for all of us.
Absolutely, how fragile life is. And mate, I do wish, obviously someone close to you, and you know, sorry to hear that, mate. And
thanks,
you know,
Dave.
mental health is a real thing, and it's sad that he took his own life. We've got a message here from the old goal pack. They said, thank you guys, an absolute team effort made possible by the fans. It was incredibly emotional. It was absolutely unbelievable what they did. George, to you first, and then Sutty will come to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, I do struggle to talk about things like this, just because obviously it is such a, you know, such a bad thing that happened, and obviously, you know, it's hard to really know what to say. But yeah, Jota meant a lot to me as a person, and that kind of whole squad. Obviously, that was my first season ticket, was 2017, 2018, watching that squad. So like my first few games that season ticket was watching Jota score in the Championship. I always remember when we sold him, I was, you know, really like, I didn't understand why we sold him, and it really upset me why we sold him. And then obviously seeing him thrive at Liverpool, I was really happy for him. So obviously when it happened, it was just like completely, you know, well, you don't expect it to happen, do you? And he was so good as well. It wasn't like a fringe player, or he was actually like probably one of the best players I've ever known play for Wolves. And he was just incredible. So obviously he got the send-off he deserved, and I was so happy that, you know, Ruben was there and his whole family was there to see obviously how much he meant to the Wolves. And as I said, like the old Pat did a brilliant job. And obviously when they played the Fields of Gold, which was his favourite song, I always remember the video they actually filmed when they were drawing the things out of the hat in the blue tracksuits. I remember they said it then, and it was just like, so yeah, it was really emotional. I don't think I've ever sort of, you know, cried at a football game before, but it happened. So, but as I said, like, it's horrible what happened, but as I said, I think we did a good job of, you know, portraying how much he means to us. And, you know, he's part of the family, and his family will always be welcome back here at Wolves. So yeah.
Mate, that's absolutely really well said. Thanks for that, George. I appreciate that might be something that you struggle to talk about, but you did a grand job, mate. Thank you. Sutty, we had a phone call earlier, didn't we? We have chats and stuff like that, and we spent quite a bit talking about how it was amazing yesterday. But like I said, like, it'd be really great, because you were right in the thick of it as well, for you to sort of portray that as well, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Again, firstly, being in the South Bank, I couldn't really see what you lot could see. So it was only afterwards that we could look back at footage and just see how incredible it really was. I just want to say everything was fantastic. I mean, what the old Gold Pack have done here is just absolutely incredible. And to do it, you know, you don't get a lot of notice to do these sort of things either. So the planning of it and the organisation of it is just second to none. It was incredible. Now, he was a big player for us, and you can almost align our demise to his sale. That was the start of when we started selling people and probably making not very good decisions buying people. But Diogo was a Liverpool player, but he would always be a Wolves player. And the biggest accolade I can give to this, Dave, is that I've been all over the world, as you know, watching football. Not just Wolves. I've watched England all over the world. And when I go and watch England all over the world, I go to other games as well. Tournament football can be pretty boring when your team's not playing. So it's best to go to as many games as you can while you're there. And I have been in some atmospheres where I've thought, there's nothing will beat this. Nothing will beat this. Watching Morocco play in Qatar was like nothing I could really describe to you. The noise levels was just incredible. But yesterday, and I know I'm invested heavily within this club emotionally, the 25 minutes from 65 onwards, where the South Bank came alive and sang the Diogo song that we made for him, well, I don't think that'll ever be beaten. That was absolutely incredible.
It didn't stop.
And to watch, and to watch Man City players. Okay, people say they're Portuguese. They came over and they stood at the end of the game and applauded us for 10 minutes, and it got louder and louder and louder. It was an absolutely incredible day. I know we're going to talk about the game, and people will jump on my back for this comment now, because I have been vocally the biggest critic of this owner and this chairman. But what we all must remember is, if they weren't here, we would never have seen him.
That's true.
So, well done, the old gold pack. Absolutely incredible. And yesterday was a very proud day.
It was a very, very proud day, and it was a fantastic tribute. And we've got lots more to talk about on that. But I think at this point, I've got an absolutely wonderful video that I've been saving that God bless Nathan sent to me. High up in the North Bank, I think, opposite. And I want to play that video. So if you haven't seen it from this angle, it's beautiful. It has. You guys can talk over it, your feelings as we play the video as well, so you can sort of like talk through your emotions as it goes. But like, it has got the Premier League music over the top of it at this point. It hasn't got the field of goals. But let's play this video. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's you've seen it from an amazing angle. So here it is. They've got the banner out. You can hear the applause. Absolutely amazing. We will remember you when we walk in the field of goal and everyone's singing Diogo. Absolutely amazing. You can see how it just goes into that point. Field of goal as well, but everyone's singing his name. The old goal pack absolutely nailed it. So that is, thank you, Nathan, for sending that. But that is just absolutely beautiful and magnificent, and everyone around me was in tears. And also, can I say that the video that Wolves put together on the board, on the screens as well, how they put that together. Half of the program was also dedicated to Diogo, and of course they also acknowledged the sad loss of Andre Silva as well. Suti, you know, obviously you were in the South Bank. You've seen bits after that. I mean, looking at that from that angle, how does that make you feel?
Well, like I say, it's such a proud day, a sad day, but I'm sure his family will be overjoyed with the reception that got. And like I say, with the amount of planning that's gone into something like that, it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. We're a big club. on the scale of things. But we're not a massive club, Dave. We're not massive. We're not a Liverpool. We're not Man United. But by God, we stepped up to the plate yesterday massively.
It absolutely did. It was an absolute. I mean, like Rebecca here, it's given me goosebumps. I've seen it again. Interestingly, and we will come on to this a little bit later on. Chris Jordan here, Fields of Gold should replace Hyo Silver Lining. We'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of the show, perhaps, because there is a thought that this should continue with the Fields of Gold. So we'll come on to that, because the anthem is something that we've talked about for a long time, with various ideas and stuff like that, and it kind of is reflective of Molineux as well, and it is like a hymn. And if you listen to the likes of "You'll Never Walk Alone," and there's a Scotland. I can't think of the team. That's something very Kilmarnock. It's absolutely spine tingling. And I know there's been a lot of people that have been talking about that should get a chance to become something that is quite emotional and relevant to Wolves. And You'll Never Walk Alone came out of a tragedy as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Don't forget as well, Dave, our illustrious neighbours from West Bromwich have a hymn as their favourite song as well.
Do they?
Yeah.
What, the Liquidator?
No. They sing "The Lord's My Shepherd," don't they?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
They belt it out. Yeah.
What, the Baggies do?
Yeah.
When? Because obviously I don't
all throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, didn't know. I've got no interest in them, what they do.
Well, I forgot
No,
about
we're bigger.
Forgot about them, to be honest. Listen, guys, absolutely right that we should top the show. We're talking about the Diogo tribute. Like I say, people can say that the club have got lots of things right, but they've worked very, very closely with the fans at the old Gold Pack to try and get the right sentiment around this. They supported the old Gold Pack when it was a humongous effort to raise what they did, and then they topped it up. So you have to applaud what they've done with that, and I think they absolutely nailed it. Hit it out the park, and the fans responded incredibly well. And that last, like you say, Sutty, at the end, when it just kept going and going and going. And I think, like you say, Ruben Neves was there. Did Diogo's wife come as well? Because I know she went. Yeah,
and Diogo's mum and dad as well. So I'm glad they got to experience it, so they could really see, how much.
Because I know they went to the Anfield on the Friday. I thought they might come down. I think Neves was there with us. So
you never really got a proper send off at Wolves, because obviously it was in COVID, wasn't it? And obviously you can't. I wouldn't say he left on bad terms, but he was pushed out a bit. So it's good. It's nice that his family got to see that Wolves do really care and love him.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the game, Nathan. We are going to do a Q&A at the end, guys. So if you do have any questions for George, for Sutty, for Nathan, for all of us about anything, absolutely save those Q&As up, but do join in with the conversation as we go through. Mate, Nathan, what's your sort of takeouts on the Man City game then, and where we are at the moment?
I mean, I think Sutty intimated that it's almost a bit of an irrelevance, the Man City game, the result, given the day, it was all about Diogo, wasn't it? But I always think it's difficult to benchmark the team against someone like a City, because we were talking before we started, and we weren't going to get anything from that game. I think we all kind of predicted a 3 or a 4-0. But actually, we were in the match, and the strange thing was, they probably had 4 or 5 chances and were that clinical. They put 4 away, and they were only given those chances because of the sloppiness of some of our play at the time. So, a stray pass from Agbadou, or just dwelling on the ball too much. And it's a different Man City. I think Man City's teams of old, again, as we were discussing earlier, they tend to get 80-90% of possession. and it was almost like they'd bore teams to death before they get to the byline. They'd come back. We all remember Grealish sort of keeping the ball and never really crossing it in. The team's a bit different now. I'll get on to Wolves in a second, but the City team now, they play through the lines. They're quicker. They do a lot more with the width. We spoke about Baby Reindeer, as you called him earlier, Dave. Reinders, just superb. I think he could be a real star this season. Haaland had about 3 touches of the ball, and 2 of those were goals. Give him the service and he will score. I just think it's difficult to judge this team. We've not really progressed from last season. That team was, apart from Wolf, was the team that started, finished last season. And we all know that, you've got to integrate Lopez and Arias a little bit later maybe into the team. So he started with more of a defensive outlook. And, we actually had, first half, I think we played okay and we had plenty of the ball. It's just we didn't take those chances, and I do question the quality that we've lost. We've sold the crown jewels as we do every summer, and now we've shopped at B&M for replacements. And that's the big worry for me is we're buying, as we've done for the last probably 3 seasons, we're buying potential. We're not buying finished products, and I think a lot of the teams in the Premier League now are looking for players to hit the road running. For Lopez, go on, sorry, Dave.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, good points. I'd say, obviously Fer Lopez, David Moller-Wolf. Again, the jury will be out on that. But John Arias, I think maybe it will be an adjustment to the Premier League, but he surely is one that is top quality. It's just obviously he was in team of the tournament for the Club World Cup, so he's
Yeah, I think Celta Vigo, he looked the standout, didn't he, for us? He was short, sort of low centre of gravity. He kept the ball well. His passing was good. It will take time for any player to adapt to the Premier League, but he's one that I think could be potentially very good. But it's not enough. It's
Absolutely.
not enough at the moment, and we all know that. We know season after season what goes on with this club. Sutty mentioned earlier, we wouldn't have had the likes of Neves and Jota and Jimenez if it wasn't for the current ownership and the ballpark. It's changed the way we're managing the club now. Has completely changed. We're a selling club, and we're year after year we're trying to balance the books. But for me, we're going into every season without a real identity, and that's the worry.
Absolutely. Wolves have currently spent in this summer window £71 million, just so you know, at this point. That's how much we've spent.
What's the net spend?
Go on.
I was just say, what's the net spend though? Because that you can't really say 71 million when it's what's the net spend.
Part of that is that, to be honest, is the 23 million from Jurgen Strand Larsen, because obviously although he counts as a signing for this summer, he was already here, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to the point now where me, Dave. You know me. I try to be. I'm ambitious. I'm passionate. I want Wolves to win trophies, which I know is probably not going to happen. But I always hoped and dreamed that we'd win a trophy, at least a cup. Because we've been close. We've been very close. We've been in semi-finals, and obviously, a few seasons ago we were at the top. Like the COVID, just before the COVID season, before COVID hit, could have easily got Champions League. We were pushing to do really well and become like one of these big teams. However, basically what's happened is, over time, the models obviously decided that because of FFP and PSR and whatever reason, basically we can't really compete with these big boys, which is absolutely fine. But the problem is, like, to balance everything, we have to sell all our best players. And then we can't replace them with the proper replacement. So basically, every season, at one point we had loads and loads of quality, but now as I said, the quality's been stripped back every season, been stripped back and stripped back. Last season, it was Nori and Cunha and Semedo and Sarabia. They've all now gone. So now you're basically looking at a team that great group of lads, hard working, but there isn't really that much quality there, is there? I mean, you look at the team yesterday, who's going to make the killer pass? Who's going to?
We've got two of Brazil's midfield that are playing in the middle of our.
Yeah, no, great players, but they're not gonna create loads, are they? They're battlers. They're defensive midfielders. They're not going to create loads of chances, are they? We don't really have any pacey quality that we used to have. We've lost Lights and Neto, Nori, all those kinds of players. Don't have them anymore. So basically, what's happened is I've accepted that because we don't have ambitious owners like the rest of the league. Yes, we might. I do think we'll stay up. I think we'll be absolutely fine. However, we're just going to basically that's our level now, and because it's too late now to get any higher up. Because as I said, like with FFP and everything, we've had our chance while we're doing well. But as I said, now we're not doing well. We're not bringing in the money.
Don't you think that? I mean, I'm not trying to defend or anything like this, but don't you think?
Go ahead.
Don't you think we were really close when we beat Tottenham Hotspur and we were dreaming of Champions League, and then because it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, a global pandemic hits, and it's kind of that. We've talked about this before. It's like, where would Wolves have been now had the pandemic not have happened at that when it did? Because when we beat Tottenham, that game we beat Tottenham Hotspur and they had a few injuries. We were like within a fraction.
100%. But then you could also argue.
Then it started. Then obviously there's a delay, and they got their players.
We won the first three games after COVID. People forget that. So we weren't actually that bad the back end of that season. But yeah, I mean, as I said,
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
But obviously things have changed, and there's no doubt about it. I was on TalkSport last week up at TalkSport Towers, and the one thing I was saying, we've gone 7th, 10th, 13th, 14th, 16th. And I said on air, I said, if you do not, if you stand still in this division, you go backwards. We have got to not just stand still. We've got to go forward. And I'm going to bring Sutty in a second. But out of the players that have gone, which players would you have refused to have sold, George?
Well, I wouldn't have sold out Nori because last time I was on, that was what I said, wasn't it? But obviously that's happened now, and we brought in. Well, we got Hugo Bueno, who, as I said, is at a good level. But he's not Nori, is he? And then Wolf, I thought was really disappointing yesterday. Give the lad a chance. I'm not writing him off completely yet. But for me, he just seemed quite lightweight, couldn't really get into the game. I know we're against Man City, but you compare that to Nori, who, by the way, was absolutely brilliant on his Manchester City Premier League debut. I thought was brilliant. I know obviously he's got good players around him, but he was really good. And then obviously with Semedo, you can't. We tried to keep him, we couldn't. Cunha had to go. Cunha definitely had to go. And Neto is another one we should have kept. But as I said, there is players we shouldn't have sold. There is players that should have gone, of course there is. But I just think because obviously players like Nori and Cunha were brought a long time ago and they were our quality. We haven't made a quality signing. We haven't paid big money for a player and gotten a quality player for a while. So I just think look at the standard of players we're buying now. And another thing is, Dave, players don't want to come to Wolves. Players don't want to come to Wolves anymore.
To be honest, that has been seems to have been a bit of an issue because there's a lot of players where we've been in and they've gone elsewhere. I mean, I can't think of the guy's name that went to Napoli, but then Napoli Champions League, Wolves. Let's bring Sutty in on all of this, mate, on the game and on the window and where you sitting at the moment.
On the game,
yeah,
levels, Dave, absolute levels of. We are a million miles away from Man City as a playing team and a club. They are ruthless, absolutely ruthless. There was a period for 35 minutes where we matched them. But the most concerning thing for me is we have got such a soft underbelly and the will to dig in when you've just conceded seems to be gone. It's not there, and we conceded.
We in pre-season as well, didn't we?
Oh, pre-season was dreadful, and don't give me this that pre-season doesn't matter. Pre-season does matter because winning breeds winning. No matter what you do, if you win, you're more confident for the next time you take on somebody, whether that be boxing, cricket, football, golf. If you're a winner, you're a winner. And if you keep losing, that sticks in the back of your brain. But I just want to quickly read this after yesterday. I mean, yesterday, like I say, it was levels. We've given 3 goals.
We did.
So don't tell me that we were brilliant yesterday. There were glimpses of things that we did all right with, but there are glaring issues within this side. Glaring issues. You cannot get rid of your 2 wing backs who are so established to the system you play that you basically bring 2 kids in. You chuck one in you've had for 4 years, and he weren't good enough 4 years ago. And I'm not just singling Keanu Hoover out here, because there were times yesterday when he certainly weren't the worst player on the pitch. Let's put it that way. But he is not good enough, right? Young Wolfer, he's going to have a little bit of time. Now, we've got rid of one of our biggest attacking assets in Norrie, on the cheap, might I add, because we should have held out for more money.
Can I just come in onto that? What's the guy, Alex Crook from TalkSport? Obviously, I was down on TalkSport Towers last week. I was talking to him, and I was talking to him about Wolves transfer bids. And do you know what he said? He says, "I can't believe you sold him for that much."
Absolutely ridiculous.
This is Alex Crook.
Why, Dave?
He actually said, "I can't." I thought you'd have held out for more.
You have 2 years left in his deal.
Why have we sold a player who wants to go like that? Why haven't we pulled him into our office and said, look, if Man City at 45 million, you can go. Man City, that way then, they're going to offer 40 million, Dave. Now, okay, 40 million is a damn sight better than 31. Now, at 40 million with a year left and an extension on his contract, which he might have signed, he might not have done, is a far better deal than just over 30 million. We have sold him on the cheap, and we sold him early. Now, if you're going to sell players early, you got to do your business early. And I just want to say, just bring this in now, because I've led myself into this, and this is from today. I'm waiting for help off the club to sign new players. We need these new players, and we need quality players. They've known since last season the positions that we need. They are saying to me that they are working hard on 3 to 4 to balance the squad. We need them now. We needed them yesterday. Now, I'm sorry. I've had some really deep discussion with our social media football money experts this week on Facebook. And I've been told that I'm a self-entitled idiot, basically, because of my harsh views on Fosun and their spending. How dare I question how they spend their money on their club, right? And I want to know how the likes of Brentford, with a capacity of 17,000, can go and spend £40 million on a player. How Bournemouth, and apparently Bournemouth are worth far much more money than Wolves, even with a 10,000 capacity stadium. They're a better prospect than Wolves, apparently, to our social media football money experts, who I might add, I've asked them to come on this show, Dave, and explain, but I doubt very much they will.
That would be great. That would be great.
I doubt very much where they will, because I'm the biggest dickhead on the planet at the moment to some of these people. So how can they do it? How can Birmingham City, Dave, build a 60,000 seat stadium in the Championship? And I'll tell you how. Football is a very murky business, no matter which way you look at it. And they're a way of bending the rules. They are all bending the rules. And I've said this for 4 years now. We use these restrictive rules as a reason not to spend. And that's the difference. They find a way round it. Aston Villa spend 85% of every penny they generate on player wages, and they can still spend. They do sell players. They sell quite a lot of players. but they're skirting close to the edge all the time. Every club has got very clever money people within that club to know how to bend the rules. We use these rules as an excuse not to spend. Now, we've got 62.3 million pound for Cunha. We've got 30 odd for Aitnori. There's multiple other smaller deals gone out. So let's say we've got 100 million. You've just told me.
Don't forget the wage bill as well has come down drastically.
Absolutely. So let's not forget that there's 100 million. Let's just round it off to 100 million. I'm pretty sure that we can go out and spend another 60 million pound here, right? So go and do the business. If you don't know these players now, then you failed in your duty for this club. If that's your job, if you're in recruitment and you haven't got these players lined up, and don't give me the bullshit that our players don't want to come here. You've got to make it attractive for them to come. You've got to. And the best way to make it attractive for them to come is to show them that you're ambitious. Don't go on record saying stupid things like, if you want to win things, Wolves aren't the club for you. Buckle up and start signing some players for this club, else you will go down.
Well, I've not seen what Brentford have done in terms of the transfer window, but I know they've basically pretty much sold everybody. Because they have sold a lot of players for a lot of value. So I mean, 40 million in terms of what they've gone out on one player, I don't know. Obviously, Bournemouth, smaller club. They're looking at expanding. They've built an amazing new training ground. They seem to be a club that's very, very well run, play some good football. They seem to have a plan. I was talking to Emma the other day, and she says, like, Bournemouth sell a player, and then the next day they got someone else in. Now, they aren't as big a club as Wolves. We know that. But the actual revenue from the match day, from a match day, is so much less significant now to what it used to be because of the TV rights and all the commercial stuff.
Sorry, Dave. I'll let these lads have their say, then I'll shut up. But you've got to make it a viable project for these players to come to. Most of these players are very, very wealthy anyhow, and they want to win things, Dave. They don't want to finish 17th. Who wants to go and play for a football club that's happy to finish 14th to 17th? Who wants to come for that? You're going to struggle. You want to put yourself in a shop window, because that's what we do. We sell players. That's okay. That's fine. But you want to put yourself in a shop window that's going to compete for trophies. We ain't going to compete for the Premier League, but let's go for the Farmers League in Europe. Let's go for the League Cup. Let's go for a cup. Stop fannying around and make this a viable prospect for incoming players. And then you'll start going up the league.
Well, absolutely. As I say, I agree with everything that you've said, because like we were 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, we were all a lot more positive. The management changes, the structural changes. I know Domenico Tetti's not coming very long, so he's had a little time. And like I'm just talking about Brentford, I'm just talking about Bournemouth, and in terms of like they are a smaller club, but the TV revenue and all of the rest of it and the commercial stuff. So I don't know really got, but there is also a lot of other managers that are complaining about their transfer window. Moyes at Everton, I know they brought in a couple of players this week, but he was struggling. Marco Silva at Fulham, they've only bought in a £500,000 reserve keeper so far.
Nuno, Glasner.
There's Glasner at Crystal Palace.
I just won the FA Cup.
I know, and
if they're all struggling, though, you've got to get in early to get these players.
I think what they're all saying, Sutton, this is not trying to defend or anything. I think I'm just talking about all the managers are talking across the whole of the Premier League, because of this bloody Club World Cup that's been in the middle of things. It's meant that the dominoes hasn't started moving, and there's a lot of business that hasn't been able to get done. I do expect the last 2 weeks it's going to go nuts, and I still think Wolves will bring in another 3 players. I mean, I don't know how far down the list this Jackson Chachue from Verona for the right wing back, but I'd expect that'll get announced probably tomorrow. That'll be 5 permanent players that we'd have bought. He's about 10 million. That would make our spend 81 million so far in the window. But coming back to a lot of the points that you were saying, I think the issue is it's all right bringing the players in, but like they're so untested in the Premier League. You hope that they're going to hit the ground running. You talk about David Moller-Wolf. He seems like a really sound guy. Got a great relationship. He looks very athletic, very down to earth. Probably fits into the dressing room really, really well. You probably all saw the interview I did with the Dutch experts, the fan experts that follows AZ Alkmaar quite a lot. And he's got reservations about how quickly he will adapt to the Premier League. He said when he came to AZ Alkmaar, the first season that he was there, he really struggled to adapt to the Dutch Eredivisie, and he's worrying. And then the second year he really kicked on. He's worrying that he might struggle the same. And you look at our defence and how vulnerable we seem. Agbadou, I don't know what I would say. Like I feel like he's been abducted or someone's possessed him, because last since he came in January, he was contending for Player of the Year. He was that good all the way through pre-season. He seems to have developed mistakes. The second goal yesterday, you would not have seen him made that mistake last year.
Can I just say something? Going back on, as long as that's all right. I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh, that's what you should be doing. We've all got to be talking and
exactly. You got to take your chance while you can. Anyway, obviously, you mentioned like it's hard with PSR and FFP to get the players you want to get. In the last 5 years, we're the only club with a positive net spend. So that shows that basically that we're getting pumped in the least money for what we sell. So, as I said, we sell all these players and we don't spend what we sell. So how are we supposed to progress doing that? If every other club has a negative net spend, it shows that's not the way to do it. So, as I said, I just think like it's got to the point now. We've left it really late in the window. It's getting to the point now where if we want to do well, we're going to have to overpay for players, basically. That's the only way we can do it.
Well, actually, George, that's actually incorrect. At the top, because again, someone I was talking to about this is that you do get better value towards the end of the window, and the reason for that is that players who've been hanging around, right? We need to think. Also, teams need to get these players off the books, so you can get some good deals towards the end of the window.
Yeah, but on the contrary, you could also
I was talking to about this, but they were explaining this to me, and I'm not saying it's a thing because we have bought in some players and we haven't got the players that we want, but I do expect that we are. Mendes was there yesterday as well, so like he needs to start pulling some rabbits out of the hats. We can all see down the wing backs is a concern for us because last year we had Ryan Ait-Nouri, probably will be world class. He did have a rick in him. Cheerful Chris wasn't his biggest fan. And in a Man City team, he's going to have to do a lot less defending than he did at Wolves. And then, of course, we had Nelson Semedo, who was just Mr. Reliable. Doc can't go up and down the ring anymore. So the three centre-backs are a lot more exposed because the wing-backs are not as strong. And our offensiveness and our defensive formation depends on those wing-backs. And if the quality of the wing-backs are not there, the whole system falls down a bit, doesn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, but Dave, I know you said, we can get better value for players, but surely the players that were any good who were for sale have already gone. As I said, these serious football clubs get the transfer business done early.
If that was the case, George, there wouldn't be so many deals done at 11 p.m. on deadline day, and you've seen so many
100%. But a lot of our deadline day deals flopped last season. Sam Johnson's deadline day.
Well, we still don't know why. We still don't know why he was bought. Nathan, I want to bring you in on that because you've been sitting patiently.
Yeah, I mean, I get what George is saying about selling all these great players, but unfortunately, it's ambition, and players like Ait-Nouri and Cunha and Neto. These are players with ambition who want to play for bigger clubs, and that's what we are at the moment. We're a smaller club. We're a selling club. They get to the point in their career where they want to move on for more success that we're not offering. And just something you mentioned there, Dave, about our fall down the league in terms of league positions. I come back to identity, and Sutty was touching on this, that you know, we're stripping all these great assets out. We're not replacing them with like for like quality. We're not going for the best players. But we've done this in the past, and we have done well with our transfers. Some of them have come in. We buy them 15, 20 million. They move out of the club for 50. We just have to hope that the club have got it right with Arias. Lopez, I think, is going to be more of a long-term proposition. I don't think he's going to make the impact just yet. I think, you know, we could see.
He looks. I have seen him a lot in pre-season. I've been quite impressed with him.
Yeah, I think he looks like he's got a trick. He's got a cross in him. I think Arias is more of a finished player, but you'd expect that for someone 27, 28 versus, you know, someone 22. But yeah, your point on the fullbacks is bang on, and that's my biggest worry is we've lost Semedo Aït-Nouri. We've replaced them with Wolf, and as George said, I don't think he had the greatest game yesterday, but hopefully he's going to come good. And you just hope this new guy that coming in, Jackson, is more of that. Perhaps we are going to be more penetrative down the right than we were last season with Semedo. Semedo was more defensive than Aït-Nouri last season. I think we saw a lot of the width going through the right. We have to hope that Jackson comes in and is that player who's going to get us up the pitch a bit more. But yeah, it is worrying at the time. But like I said earlier, you can't benchmark the team's performance against Man City, but you can benchmark it against the 4 crap results we've had in the pre-season, and they've all been appalling. Stoke, Celta Vigo, you know, the other games, they were shocking. There was not one of those games where I thought we played well.
Well, I absolutely agree with all of the pre-season stuff because, like Sooty, I went apart from the Girona one, but I did watch it. It seemed to be a very similar pattern that we seemed to have a lot of control in the first half of the games, did nothing with it, and then they stepped up a level and scored a couple of quick goals, and that was it. One thing that I was pleased with yesterday, and let's talk about a little bit of the positives, and whether or not it was the atmosphere within the fans that really lifted. I thought we had a lot more about us yesterday. I thought we had more energy. I thought for the first 30 minutes we defended well, we played well, and we scored almost a really good goal, which was a great finish. He was offside, but we did cause City problems and we were hurting them. But in
the first 30 minutes was like, yeah. I know he was offside a lot, but he was causing a lot of problems. He has got an engine on him, Manetzi. I quite like him, and he just caused issues. It was a good finish. But like the first goal, you could see it from where we were in the North Bank. The guy got it, and he just kept running and running and running and running. This baby reindeer guy, and it was a beautiful dink over the top. But how on earth is Haaland free a yard out when we've got 3 defenders in a row before that at the back post to tap that in? That should not be happening. He shouldn't even get to him. The second goal was out of the Gary O'Neill playbook. Let's just pass it to them and then they run it and finish. The third goal, although we had a great chance at the start of the second half, which was a good move, Larson missed the target. But their third goal was Champions League. It was just brilliant goal. Sometimes you just have to go, that was a great goal. And then when Haaland gets a chance, he will put it away. So you basically, against City, if you give them a chance, Haaland will score. So like when we played them last season, Dawson basically man-marked Haaland out of the game. Obviously, the defenders we have now, I know Dawson wasn't great, but what he could do was, mark a player out of the game. Agbadou, Totti and Doc aren't capable of that. So we're always going to struggle.
No, absolutely.
We're never going to keep Haaland quiet.
I did see positive. I saw the fight. I saw the energy. I saw this is against Man City, but every mistake we made, we literally got punished, and we never took our chances. Sooty, I want to go back to you. Anything you want to add to all of that on the game? Any positives that you can take out of it? Your man of the match, your performance rating?
Well, like I said before, we've given 3 goals, and you can't afford to do that. We virtually matched them up until their first goal, but the worrying thing for me is how we just collapse. We just, you could see the life drain out of us. We could feasibly have been 2 up at that point, and We played all right. Yeah, we played all right. I'm not knocking the first 35 minutes because I think it worked. But as somebody's just said here in the comments, because I do read your comments as I'm on here, Manchester City are the masters of just working a game out. They may look like you're putting them under pressure, but they're just suckering you into traps, and they lay traps, and you make the mistake, and you get punished. And we ain't good enough to compete with the punishments that they deal out to us. It's as simple as that. And until we get quality and we buy somebody who's creative, who can break the lines, because although I love Gomez and Andre, they're too similar. We've got no out ball from midfield. We will suffer the same consequences a lot of this season.
Absolutely. Man of the match then?
Well, this might surprise a few. I'm going to give it to Manetzi because I thought he'd run his balls off.
Yeah, that's a fair shout, actually, Manetzi. Actually, thinking about it after the game. Your performance rating?
6.
A 6. Nathan, to you?
Yeah, I'm not a Manetzi lover. I struggle. He's a worker. He runs his socks off. He leaves it all out there. But we need better than Manetzi at this club. We need better than Bellegarde. Andre and Gomez, virtually the same player as Sooty said. Where we had that balance before with Neves and Moutinho in the middle, where one would sit, one would go. We haven't got that anymore. We've just got 2 terriers, albeit fantastic terriers. But Manetzi, for me, I don't want to see him in this team at all. I just don't get it. I don't get the Manetzi loving. Anyway, moving on. One thing I will say is Hoover, who before the game, when I saw Hoover's name on the team sheet, I was horrified because if you can't make it at Stoke, you can't make it at Wolves. He actually didn't have a bad game, and some of his crossing and some of his passing was actually okay.
He wasn't doing any of that in pre-season.
Celta Vigo, he was one of the worst players on the pitch. He was absolutely garbage. Anyway, it's difficult to pick your player of the season, but that player of the season, that'd be a good one this early doors, wouldn't it? For me, I'd probably say Gomez was a terrier again in the middle. He was breaking things up. I'm always a massive fan of Gomez. He's one player that when you look at who we're going to sell at the end of the season, as we always do, Gomez would probably be up there as one of the likely candidates already. So he'd get my man of the match. I'd probably give us, for the day, for the Diogo Jota tribute, it's a 10 out of 10, but the actual performance, I can't go more than a 5.
No, great summary. George, to you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I always knew going in, I predicted a draw because, as I said, what's the point of supporting Wolves if you're not going to back them to get something? So I predicted a draw. I can't believe I went. I went with
my heart rather than my head.
Well, what's the point in support? If you're gonna walk into Molineux thinking we're getting nothing from this game, what's the point? So I predicted getting a draw, and obviously looking back, that was pretty stupid because they're a team that's back to the absolute maximum. They can just drop 60 million on a player and stick him on the bench. Bear in mind, this is a City team without Rodri, without Gvardiol, and without Foden. So they played us on the park. Imagine they had their full team. Ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I thought the lads gave a good go. Whatever you say about this team, they will never not put in 100%. And that's something you can't ever take away from that team. These players always put in 100%. They're a very likeable group of players. However, as I said before, the quality's not really there. But they did give it a good go. First 35 minutes, we played really well. We're in the game. We're doing okay. Obviously, you go 1-0 down. It's hard to come back from that. But then for Agbadou, just give the ball away in that position and go 2-0 down within 2 minutes. It just kills the game. And as soon as that goal came in, as soon as that goal went in, it's just like heads drop. These players are confidence players. You break down all this squad right now. Totti, confidence player. João Gomez, confidence player. Larson, confidence player. Your main players are confidence players. So if you're going 2-0 down that early on against a great team like City, let's be honest, you got no chance. So after that second goal went in for me, it was a dead rubber. But I thought the lads gave a good go. But as I said, because the quality's not there, you can't expect too much more. So it's just what you got to expect these days, unfortunately. But yeah, man of the match, I'd probably give it Andre. I feel like Andre is probably the only one in the Wolves team who would, could play for a team like Manchester City. I thought, he was calm. He received the ball well. He kept the ball well. But I was very impressed with some of the. I thought the subs were good. I don't know if you guys agree, but we looked a bit more excited.
When the subs come on, we had another. We had them on the back foot again, and that made a difference. To be fair, and then they scored the fourth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the bench. I know the quality of players aren't there, but the bench there is experienced, good subs you can bring on. So I wouldn't say the depth's there in terms of what we need, but there is depth in a way. But yeah, I suppose performance rating. I think in terms of what the players can deliver, they did give it 100%. And for a while, we did try, keep them tied up and try and limit them a bit. But at the same time, obviously we did lose 4-0. So I would have gone with a 5, but Sutty went with a 6. So if Sutty went with a 6, I'll go with a 6. Not because I'm copying Sutty, just because I wouldn't have gone any higher than 5, but someone else already has, so I'll give him a 6.
Fair play. Now we've got some phone-ins to put on in a second. Just want to say we're currently on 37,270 subscribers to the channel. There is 890 of you watching live right now. So across different channels, we'd love if you would hit the subscribe button. You can join in the chat to see whether you can get us to 37, close to 37,200 and 37,300. That'd be amazing to achieve that on the chat. Right, let's hear from Chris in Norway and Noah in the US of A.
I was all in Norway, speaking after the game, which was in the end a very frustrating afternoon, wasn't it? Let's be honest, I wouldn't say we played particularly badly today. Things just didn't go for us that have gone for us in previous weeks. I would say that, in all honesty, playing Guedes today, I could see the idea behind it, but it really didn't work. It really didn't. Kuna was man-marked out of the game for the first half, and we literally had, I think we had a bad 10 minutes.
I think that's the exact wrong.
One from the archives, Dave.
That's definitely
last season City game.
Yeah, that's definitely the last. I haven't listened to this back, but that's not right. So
he was just about to mention the Doog, I think.
We said Guedes, and I was like, he could have meant Gomez. Fair play.
I think he sent me the wrong video. Anyway, so let's hear from Noah.
From Monterey, California. So it ends. Wolves nail Manchester City 4 at Molineux. Overall, I feel I can summarize that game as not ideal, but then I can summarize our performance as not wholly incompetent. First 30 minutes or so, we gave City a game. But after that, our mistakes, caught up to us, and City punished those mistakes. Specifically, that second goal, Aguado gets caught on the ball. I thought Aguado was very poor today. He needs to switch it on badly. We just simply, I don't know if we'll stay up if he doesn't switch it on. I thought Muller-Wolfe, didn't look entirely convincing to me. Hoover had some good moments, which is good to see. Strand Larson put himself about. But I think in the end, I'm walking away from this not really hanging my head a whole lot, knowing as well that it's City, but also because it was a very emotional day, with it being the first match since Diogo and his brother Andre's passing, and just the scenes were absolutely incredible. It's a huge credit to the Old Gold Pack, as I'm sure I'm like the 90th person or even more to say that on a video, but really truly they deserve all the credit in the world. And then just the fans singing his name, singing Diogo's name for the final 10-15 minutes, and then 5 to 10 minutes after the final whistle. Just absolutely incredible. There's nothing that can really describe what we saw today. yeah, just a day of reflection, and just goes to show, cherish every moment. Anyways, let's see how we get on against Bournemouth next weekend, and hopefully we can start putting some points on the board. And yeah, anyways, always Wolves, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone.
Noah always speaks very well, and I can tell you now I've got the correct video from Chris in Norway.
This is Chris, normally from Eidsvoll in Norway, but today I'm happy to say I'm on the Costa Blanca, the Orihuela Costa, which is where I unfortunately watched our 4-0 defeat to Man City. Well, look, it was always going to be tough. We haven't recruited correctly. We know that we're weak in many areas, and in addition to that, we know the statistics, which I launched out a couple of weeks ago, which is that we sacrifice every August. We've got the worst record in the entire 4 divisions in August. Worst at 92 clubs since 2018. This is what the club do. We've mismanaged the club, and here we are again. That said, today I will not catastrophise about that result. Reality is, it was never a 4-0. It was never a 4-0. Everything they hit went in. The only problem is, it was all from our mistakes, wasn't it? Agbadu, arguably at fault for the first 2. I blamed Sarr for at least 1. I think the third goal, Haaland's second goal, he's got to do better with that. And I'll argue, actually, that he could have been down a lot quicker and more accurate for the 4th. So we've given them 4 goals. But, you know, it reminds me of that game against Southampton. I think it was back in 2007 when we lost 6-0 at home. And we actually played all right. Everything they hit went in. Same for Man City today. A few positives to take from it. But, of course, obviously, you lose 4-0 at home. It's never, ever any positives in that. So you have to be honest about that. What I will say is that positives, I thought Joe Gomez again. I thought Strand Larsen was magnificent today. He's back to goal play. He won loads of headers. Really impressed. I loved Molineux' performance as well. I thought Muller-Wolfer showed actually that he's going to be okay for us. Hoover, who a lot of us were very nervous about going into this game, started quite poorly and nervous. I thought he actually grew into the game. Do I think he's of the quality we need at the level we're at? No, I do not. However, it's clear that Vitor likes him. He grew into that game, so it's not a total disaster. But, of course, what do we know of how weak we are? We ended the game with Manetzi in centre midfield and Wang up front. Now, with that being the case, we're gone, we're down. We know that. However, this was not a total disaster. And I say again, I don't want people to make this into a catastrophe. It's far from that, although we don't want to lose by that kind of margin. I mean, we look for man of the match. I'm going Strand Larsen, man of the match. I thought he was magnificent. On another day, against other opponents, we do okay because of his performance. The negatives, you'd have to say, Agbadu, I don't know what's happened there. He's had a poor pre-season and he was absolutely horrific in the first half today. You know, 2 positions we thought we didn't have to recruit for would be centre-half and keeper. And both of them had a bloody nightmare today. So that wasn't expected, was it? That's a shame. But these guys, we know they're all right. They'll probably improve, I would have thought. But not good for those 2. But it's got to say, yet again, Wolverhampton Wanderers supporters show their class. The whole Diogo Jota tribute today, the chanting, the singing, well deep into the game, 4-0 down after the game. You know, this is why I'm proud of being a Wolves fan. And I think we all are. The identity. Today, yet again, we showed the world who we are.
Chris always talks with such passion. Great to have his contribution there. I think he summed it up really, really well. And I think that sort of puts to bed the thing that the game against Manchester City is not going to define our season. The next 2 weeks, in terms of what we bring in, is going to certainly help define the season. And then we go to Bournemouth next week. We're going to talk about the trip to Bournemouth. Then we're going to do a little bit of our favourite films, and then we're going to do Q&A. So who wants to kick off with looking ahead to face the Cherries, who, by the way, had a real good go against Liverpool on Friday night? Who wants to go?
I can go first if you want. So I'm going, which is a great start because I never usually be able to get a ticket to Bournemouth, but this year we're going. So we absolutely love that. I don't know what it's like. I know it's a League Two ground at best, but it will be like
it's a nice ground, friendly fans, good day
yeah,
out.
exactly. I mean, it's you always like ticking off a new ground, but yeah, I mean, I don't think they've lost Hoyson, Zabani, and Kirkes, and whoever their right back was. Well, he's about 34, so they've basically got a whole new back line. Plus, Kepa's gone, so their complete defence and their goalkeeper's gone completely. Got a lot of injuries as well. I believe Clivert's injured. I also who's their winger now? Not sure, but they do have a lot of injuries. Their team, the team that beat us 4-3 last season. No, not 4-3. How many do we leave? When they scored 3 penalties, 4-2, yeah. When they beat us 4-2 last season, when they absolutely outclassed us, that team is not the same team. So we have a better chance. And obviously, we beat them away last season. So I think we've got every chance of beating them. Obviously, when we beat them last season, it was a moment of magic from Cunha. And, they did have a few injuries, obviously that red card as well. But as I said, I'm feeling really confident, feeling really positive, and I think that'll be our first 3 points of the season, personally. As I said, because they've been stripped back from all their injuries and all their sales they've made. Yes, they brought players in, but they're nowhere near as good quality. That Hoyson's gone to Real Madrid. He was a top player. Zabani's gone to PSG. So 2 centre-backs from last season are PSG and Real Madrid. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're significantly weaker. They're Bournemouth. We're Wolverhampton Wanderers. We're a much bigger club. Yes, they've probably got a better team on paper, but there's no reason why we can't do them next week. Thank you, Stu. Love that.
Nathan, do you want to come in on that?
Yeah, Stu's right. Brilliant enthusiasm, George. Misplaced. I think we're probably gonna lose. I can't share your enthusiasm on our chances, unfortunately. Yes, they are weakened. Yes, they have sold 3 of their defenders, but they are a fantastically coached team. I mean, what's his name? Iriola, the manager. I think he has got such a tune out of them. On paper, you look at them and you think, who? You go through the team, Brooks, Truffert, all these players you've never heard of, but my God, they gave Liverpool a scare. Semenyo was phenomenal. I just think they were sharp. The passing was great. And the way we're playing at the moment, if you think we're going to go to Bournemouth and get anything at all, I just can't see it, mate, at the moment. I know I'm a bit old, a bit cranky, a bit miserable compared to the exuberance of youth that you've got, George. But, I can't see us getting anything other than a 2-0 defeat at Bournemouth, I'm afraid.
No, fair. I completely understand what you're saying there. But, let's be real here. We were stronger last season, but so were they, and we still beat them. We haven't lost against Bournemouth in the Premier League era since we've been back up. We haven't lost to them away. So
is that true?
Yeah, it's completely correct.
Maybe it's one of our
1-1 in 2018, 1-1 in 2019. Obviously, then they were relegated for 2 years, and we beat them under Gary O'Neill. Beat them last season as well.
Okay, so
I seem to remember them coming to Molineux. Sorry, I seem to remember them coming to Molineux and give us a bit.
No, away. I meant away, but yeah.
Yeah, I get the away, but yeah, they came to Molineux and they look class. They're a good team, and I think this season, even though they've lost some players, they'll still be a lot higher in the table than we'll probably finish. And that's me being the usual typical pessimistic Wolves fan, but I still think they're a top 10 team.
Fantastic. Sooty, let's see your take on this one.
I think it's imperative that we pick up points in the next 2 games.
Yeah. Well, we got Bournemouth, then Everton, isn't it? And we got West Ham in the cup in between.
Yeah. This new fullback, I believe, was at the game on yesterday. This Jackson kid. He needs to be ready to go. None of this, he's got to bed in till the end of September. We don't need players bedding in now. We need players that are going to come in
Oven ready.
coming on the Monday and be wearing a shirt on the Saturday. Quite simple. Don't give me any bullshit ones for the future. I'll be seething if we get any of them. We need 4 more players just for depth, but 4 quality players. Long gone are the day where we can fanny around waiting for people to come good. No, I don't think we'll beat Bournemouth. I think at best it will be a draw.
Okay, a draw. Okay, you'll have to wait until later on the week for my thoughts on that one. And also Mr. Magic Moss for have a guess. I'm sure you can reckon what he's going to go with. 2-0, as always. Right then. So the next part of the show will be for you guys, not only to join in with the little bit that the little fun bit that I'm going to ask in a second, but also get your questions in for George, for Nathan, for Sutty, for the panel, and we'll ask those questions. But George, first of all, as we talked about, your favourite film, because you haven't watched the Karate.
Yes.
George, by the next time you come on the channel, I want you to watch the Karate Kid.
Can do, mate. Can do. I mean, I'll probably make an appearance on here. What? Every 3 months? You're lucky enough to get me about 4 times.
When you message me and say, Dave, can I come on?
Yeah, well, I don't want to come on too often because obviously I know you like to get people going.
But you're more than welcome to come on more regularly than every 3 months.
I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that. But yeah, within the next 3 months, I will watch Karate Kid. I'm sure you of that. Yeah, top 3 films. So I'm a massive lover of Star Wars. So 2 of them are Star Wars films. But so the non-Star Wars film is The Dark Knight. Pretty safe bet, but it is brilliant, isn't it? It is so good. Yeah. Heath Ledger's Joker. Wow, what a performance. It's just so cool. The score's incredible. It's just such a cool film. And I went to Chicago in the summer as well. So obviously see where it's all filmed and everything. Unbelievable place, man. So I absolutely love it. Absolutely love that film. And then Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it's a classic. Yoda in that film, like some of the quotes Yoda has, it's so quotable, so good. I just absolutely love it. It's as much as a heartwarming film, like Darth Vader's aura and everything like that is incredible. And then, obviously, speaking of Darth Vader, it's got to be Revenge of the Sith, hasn't it? It's got to be Revenge of the Sith. Unbelievable. Like, just that fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, and like, I know it's not the best acting, and I know it's not the best choreography, but it's just so iconic. It's so good. The quotes are incredible. Obi-Wan saying, hello there. And, you got General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected, all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, we're still flying half a ship. All that kind of stuff is just incredible. So I love Star Wars. It makes me so happy. Absolutely love it.
Mate, I love my Star Wars as well. Good lad. Nathan, do you want to go to yours, mate?
Top 3, I think 3rd place, episode 4, Star Wars.
Yeah,
first film I ever saw at the cinema in '77 with my dad. And then we tried to keep up the tradition of going. So my mum and dad lived in Malta for a decade. But whenever the new Disney films come out, I'd always pop over just so we could watch the films. The Solos and Rogue Ones. And so 3rd place, Star Wars. And then top 2, I'm a massive Quentin Tarantino fan. So Reservoir Dogs at number 2, and then Pulp Fiction at number 1. Pulp Fiction, I can watch.
Oh, what a film! Have you seen Pulp Fiction, George?
I was in Pulp Fiction.
You must watch it.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately
not. Wow, the greatest film. I mean, I've got a wallet. So I probably can't say what the wallet says on it.
Yeah, but I know which one you mean.
I made the mistake once I went round we play poker every month. I'm in a poker league, and someone cooks and someone hosts. And there's always a rule when there's kids, no swearing, keep your sort of bad language, cut it out. I made the mistake of leaving that wallet on the side on the kitchen table, and one of the kids picked it up, brought it over to the dad and said, Dad, what does bad... not one of my finest moments. But yeah, Pulp Fiction, I could watch it anytime. I mean,
it's brilliant because of the way it's cut. It's sort of like...
Yeah, it's so cinematic. Yeah, it's just a wonderful piece of film.
What was it they called? Been to McDonald's Real, it's a chicken rail or whatever. Absolutely. Yeah, a brilliant
just
film.
Wonderful film.
You must watch Pulp Fiction, mate. It's brilliant. And Sooty, what about you?
Sorry, George. I think science fiction is utter shit.
Oh, I'm a nerd.
George, I'm with you, mate. I'm all with you all the way. I'm a nerd.
Maybe I'm not intelligent enough to look into all that stuff.
Well, I'm going to Ibiza in 2 weeks, so some would say I'm cool, but I'm also a massive nerd, so there's two sides to me. So yeah.
You should be in for some fun in Ibiza, George, with that mentality. You have a good time, son. Anyway, Dead Man's Shoes, number 3.
What a film! What a film! Yeah.
I think I'm pretty much I do like some American films. I love the Godfather trilogy and things like Casino and Goodfellas. I love all of that.
Classic.
I'm quite into my British films. There's not.
You're gonna go Lock, Stock.
No. So I'm gonna go probably Scum.
Okay.
This is in no particular order, and McVicker as well. I like McVicker.
Fantastic.
True story.
Fantastic. Well, I do like my Star Wars. I like my Star Trek. I like all these. I love my sci-fi and everything. But like, I do like the Guardians of the Galaxy films as well, to be honest. Especially the opening sequence of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they're fighting the guy and the Groot's messing around with the tape recorder and they've got Mr. Blue Sky going on. That's just a brilliant opening sequence. Well, I love that. Cloud Atlas is a great film to watch. It's multiple timelines. It's you either rate it a 1 or a 10. You either hate it or you love it. And it's got so many great people in. Pulp Fiction, with you all the way, Nate. What a film! Zed's Dead and all that. Brilliant film. You've got who's the guy? You got so many great actors that are in that as well. John Travolta,
Samuel L. Jackson,
Bruce Willis, brilliant. But also, I think you have to mention The Shawshank Redemption. Absolutely fantastic film, The Shawshank Redemption. I love that as well. So there you go. Sean, Blazing Saddles got there. We got Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember that? Forrest Gump, great film as well. All the Tom Hanks films are good. Once Upon a Time in America. McVicker, Neil says, is a great movie there, Sooty. So a little bit off football. But Inception, that's a deep one. Inception, deep film. Jaws, The Green Mile. There's some great ones coming out here. I haven't seen F1 movie yet. Final Destination. We're currently going through the Final Destination films on movie night, actually, which we have. Look, a little bit of a sidetrack. So the next thing is, have you got any questions for us that we can have a look at? The first thing I want to just talk about whilst we get down that, we did say we'd come back to it. I'm open to it personally, is the Fields of Gold. It needs to be done differently because of the pitch. But I think if it's done right and it's something that the crowd can get, I think it could be our Never Walk Alone. There's a lot of people that have said about bringing Fields of Gold. It's very much like a hymn. It's the sort of song that you can get behind. If you listen to verses 1 and 3 and the last and the end of the song when it repeats 3 times, if you stitch all that together, it could be quite a powerful anthem. I think a lot of people have been talking about that on social. George, and if you got any thoughts on that, Nathan, Sooty?
I mean, one of my friends, I took one of my friends to a game. He's a Man United fan, and he was saying he couldn't believe he found the High Wolverhampton thing really unintimidating and cringy. So that's always kind of he's always kind of said that kind of resonated with me. I was if someone else is saying, I don't understand why you're doing this. If rival fans find it a bit weird and cringy, and it's not that intimidating. 'Cause it's not that intimidating, is it? But I suppose neither is Fields of Gold. But obviously, Fields of Gold is going to have a lot more of an emotional connection with us guys now. It's a beautiful song. I mean, it's not really my kind of music, but it is a beautiful song. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd personally want something a little bit more intimidating, to be honest, because wolves are an intimidating animal. I'd like to keep it something, it's going to. Obviously, after the Premier League music hits, like obviously you got the Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant, and all that. Something a bit more along those vibes to get as the team sort of walks out. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
I doubt anything will change personally, but we'll see.
Nathan, you got any thoughts?
Well, I think after when the Liquidator got banned back in the day, we can all remember that. What we're going back 25, 30 years. It always felt like Hi Ho Silver Lining was almost a bit of a cop out. We tried The Wanderer, we tried Hi Ho, and it doesn't really get the crowd going. And I don't think we need that intimidating music. I think you look across the board at what other teams do. Z Cars has always worked beautifully at Goodison as it was. Now, in the new stadium. Whenever I've heard that, it's quite spine tingling. We walk. The Liverpool walk alone. I think that's the kind of residence I'd like at Wolves. I think Fields of Gold could be our anthem, and it could work really well. You're right. You have got to get the pitch right, and they've got to probably experiment how they engage with the crowd. But I'm up for a change. I like tradition, but I think things should change with the times, and we do need something a bit more anthemic that I think the crowd can get behind and really rouse the team before they come out.
And something that's not sang by everyone else as well. Sooty, yeah. Any thoughts on it for yourself?
I'm from an old school type of era, Dave, where we used to go to grounds. When you got a mile away from certain grounds, you started to shit your pants a little bit because you never knew what was going to be waiting for you. And I think you have to make your ground a cauldron of where people fear going there. We haven't been feared for a long time now. And I get it. I get it from yesterday. It was very emotional yesterday. I laugh at when I go to Forest and they sing Muller Kintyre. I find it funny. I don't know why they do it because it was Brian Clough's favourite tune. It doesn't fill me with fear. And I think it's about getting a crowd ready and pumped up to and I think that's the start of your atmosphere. I'm just not quite sold on it, to be honest, Dave, but that's just me. If they start if it makes them lot perform on the pitch, I'll go with it. But I'm old school, Dave. You know my views. I'd have the Liquidator back in a flash.
I was about to say that. Is there no way that we come back?
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, it's about the Albion." It's nothing about the Albion. They sing about us, and every team sings songs about their most hated rivals, and it gets a crowd pumped up. You go to Chelsea away, and it is bouncing when we go there. You go Albion away, it is bouncing, and it gets you worked up. I'm not quite so sure this will get people worked up.
Yeah, I know the Liquidator ain't ever going to come back for various reasons. One,
why not though? If Albion and Chelsea,
I'm dead set up. Personally, I'm not a fan of the Liquidator myself. I don't think he's going to come back. I personally don't want to sing a song and be bothered about singing about our rivals down the road. You said earlier on in the show, Joe, who are they? It's like, why do we want to sing about them? It's about us. That's my opinion on the Liquidator.
But we sing all game about them, though, Dave.
Pardon?
We still sing about them all game.
Well, we do. To be honest, we sing those for the days. We sing those for the days, and then after that, there's a bit of an Albion thing on there. I mean, I personally have always liked those for the days. I like Wonder of You and stuff like that. But the fact is that ain't coming back apart from maybe a special occasion one day. I think the hi-ho thing, you go to a party or you go somewhere and they put it on somewhere and it comes on, you always sing along to it, don't you, wherever you are. But I think a proper anthem is like a hymn, and it can be quite emotional. And like I say, You'll Never Walk Alone, correct me if I'm wrong, came out of a tragedy. And Diogo Jota's favourite song to be Fields of Gold when he's played for us wearing that gold shirt on that pitch. And if you listen to verses 1 and 3 on that, it's quite relevant in a lot of ways, not verses 2 and 4, because it sings about late. But I think it's got potential. But ultimately, it'll be the fans that decide on how they take to it. It's like, we'll see. The thing is, it's a bit like the colour. Is it orange? Is it brown? Is it yellow? There's always so many different opinions on it. The main thing is whether it gets embraced and the fans take it on in tribute of Diogo singing that every week, and maybe it'll take off. I wouldn't be against it. I think Hi-Ho Silver Lining is not ours. I'd rather make something ours, and even the Liquidator, it ain't ours.
I think you've got to also, as well, Dave, you've also got to cater for the modern fans a bit, like the new generation of Wolves fans. That is the new generation. You know, they're the young, enthusiastic, positive fans that will ultimately be the travelling fans in years to come, and the ones that are going to be chanting. So I think you can't just pick a song from the 90s necessarily. You need to pick something that everyone's going to know in a way. And that's why the Liquidator is perfect for me. I understand why you don't like it, but for me it's perfect because everyone knows it. It's easy to sing along, and it's just it does get people going.
But it's equally not our song. It's the same as Hi-Ho Silver isn't unique to us, and to me, we should be Wolverhampton Wanderers and sing something that's ours and make something ours and then turn it into. But I mean, we'll see when it's been coming up a lot on social, and it'll be interesting to see how that.
Going on to that, Dave. Sorry to change the subject a little bit, but we don't actually have any of our own chants. In the Nuno days, we had so many chants for players. There's no player that has a unique chant anymore, and that's something that's got to change. All our chants are just.
I mean, I've always liked those were the days. I think those were the days is ours, is uniquely ours. But let's move on. Let's have a look at some questions. See, we've got some. Someone's put the Penny Arcade. Oh, is that Ibrox? Sutil know about that. Penny Arcade, Ibrox? No. Okay. Thin Lizzie. There's quite a few things on that. So I'm just trying to have a look down the comments here. Is Totti the right captain? Who else could be? Prefer it to be Gomez. Anyone thoughts on that?
I don't think there's any standout leader.
No.
Totti is my favourite player, and I wanted him to be captain, but after seeing it yesterday, it's like that's going to destroy his confidence and be too much pressure. I think we need to probably bring in a leader, but I don't know who do we bring in. Saul is probably the most vocal, but he's also the most volatile. So
yeah, I can't see any other questions. Oh, there is a question here from Pav. I don't know whether he's put any others on. So if you have Pav, if we don't get the signings and after 10 games we're still in the bottom, in your opinion, what action would you want the fans to take? So Tik, do you want to go with that one?
Say that again, please, Dave. I missed that.
He said it says if we don't get the signings and after 10 games we're still in the bottom, in your opinion, what action should the fans take?
Well, I don't think that's a question we need to answer. That's going to get sort of toxic very quick. It's poor. It's just, like I said before, we're not replacing our quality players that we rely on to sell with quality players. You can't keep circling the drain. Look, everybody knows that I do not like this ownership model. It's not something that's just cropped up now, and I do have to sort of try and rein it in a little bit on my disgust for, especially the man at the top. I think he's an absolute muppet. But if we don't get players in to back this manager, because we've got a bond with this manager now, we all love this manager, and he loves us. And if them players don't come in and they're ready to go, and we're in the bottom 3 after 10 games, well, Big Jeff wants to watch his back at Molineux because the knives will be out.
How many
you all thought I was nuts 4 years ago saying about this, Everybody, he's nuts. We've never had it so good. He ain't so nuts now, is he? It's getting worse year on year.
David Mills has got a question for you as well, Sutty. What front three would you like to see for Bournemouth?
Well, you got to start with Strand Larson, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, Arias has got to start. And I do think Fer Lopez has got to start as well, because we've got no one to unlock anything or create anything. We're not creative, are we? So we've got to rely on blokes with balls at feet that will run at people.
Sutty, can I just ask, because you gave Monetti man of the match, because I personally I would have gone Monetti, Arias, Larson. What would you be reason for dropping Monetti purely because of that? Because he's not creative.
We've got to go at these. This is possible points, and they looked good the other night. But I'm a firm believer in the best form of defence is attack. If we sit in against these, they'll just set traps and they'll wait for us to make our usual mistakes, and they'll hit us on the break. And again, we'll be on catch-up. We can't afford to be on catch-up. We've got to go at them. Be fearless and go at them.
Okay. Nathan, will Vitor Pereira be here for the duration of this season? Everyone can answer this one. You know.
It's a horrible thought that he might not be. But, you know, again, Sutty's point about if we're not getting the right people in, you can already hear his frustration in his interviews. You can already hear the fact that he's thinking about not being here for the long term. Because if you've come in to do a job, if you've come in to do any job, you know, if I go to do a marketing role next week, not that I'm gonna sit in the garden, and someone says, you've got your job, but you've got no budget to spend on any digital advertising or any media, but we still want to make the brand a success. Those tools aren't there for me to do my job. And I think, you know, with Vitor at the moment, I think he's being shortchanged. You know, he's having the rug pulled beneath him. His best players are going. They're getting the bargain replacements in. What they've done in previous seasons is buy potential that hasn't come to fruition. You know, and that's proven that we've barely changed the team. And the team that started this season, one change in the front 11 on the back of a really disappointing season that was only rescued when Vitor came through the door and managed to do a salvage job. So I hope he's here for the long term. But if we're in the bottom three at Christmas and he's feeling shortchanged, as I mentioned, he's probably going to walk to a different project because he's well thought of, and I think he could walk into another job. Personally,
I think he could, but it won't be in the Premier League. And that's what he's. And I personally don't think Vitor Pereira will walk. I don't think he's that type of person. I think he's worked all his life to get into the Premier League. I think he'll give it his go. I think if he does leave, it might be if he's been a success at Wolves for 2 or 3 years and then moves on to a bigger job, or it hasn't worked out and they're doing the pressing the panic button again. But I just don't see that Vitor Pereira is the type of person that just will walk out. He will keep. He's the sort that will keep fighting because he's fought all his career to get to the Premier League, and they do need to give him the tilt of the job. George, your thoughts on that one?
No, I was just going to say it's interesting you say that, Dave, because I do agree with you. Because some people might counter your argument by saying he's walked out of various other clubs. He's walked out of Brazil. He's walked out of Saudi clubs, but
he walked out from Brazil.
No, like he walked out like a Brazilian club to go to like another Brazilian club. Like he has just walked out on teams just for the sake of like Club World Cups and things like that. He went to Al Hilal. He was at another Saudi team, went to Al Hilal for the Club World Cup, things like that. There is a lot of stories. He has walked out of a lot of teams, but I do agree with you because, as I said, some people would counter your point with that. But as you said, he's worked all his life to stay in the Premier League, and I generally believe he loves Wolves and Wolverhampton. Obviously, he's took to the city drinking pints and everything like that. You know, you wouldn't if you weren't happy, you wouldn't be doing that. I think he's a great bloke. I just hope if the results do start to turn, I just hope the fans don't start to turn on him because obviously, you know, at one point Gary O'Neill was seen as the saviour and God, and then all of a sudden, I know Gary O'Neill was different. You know, the commitment wasn't quite there with him. But a lot of people did turn on him, and people would have spoke about him like they spoke about Pereira now. So as I said, I just hope people don't turn in because ultimately it's not his fault, is it? Let's be completely real.
I think most fans understand that as well, don't they? So Tej, what's your thoughts on that question as well?
What if he'll walk
here at the end of the season?
Well, that's the end of his contract, isn't it? The end of this season because he only signed an 18-month contract.
Yeah.
Your biggest worry is if he doesn't sign an extension.
Yeah.
Because extensions will be being talked about now. And if we're getting to May next year and he's still in and he hasn't signed an extension, he'll go elsewhere.
I think that's a fair comment. From obviously all the reports that Wolves and Vitor Pereira are very comfortable in the situation. They want to get the transfer window out the way, get that done, and then look at signing his contract. I mean, they made a big mistake in giving Gary O'Neill a 4-year contract, probably why Hobbs isn't there anymore.
He was there yesterday, though.
Hobbs was there.
Yeah, probably watching the game. Don't know why, but he was there.
I suppose if he wants to go, they'll let him come and watch, I suppose.
Yeah. Mate, he was at the club for a while, so he's probably built a connection. So
yeah, there's a lot of, and he would have probably known Diogo and probably the reason why he would have been there, along with other things. Proper Clips wants to know why hasn't Fabio gone yet? We're all asking the same question. Apparently they're holding out for the money. I mean, I
was going to say this earlier, Dave. Why are we playing hardball for Fabio? But we didn't play hardball for Aït-Nouri.
Very good.
Absolutely. Good question.
What's going on there?
Good point.
What's going on there?
Great point.
Aït-Nouri, you could, I'm not saying you could, but you could potentially get 50 million. Brighton would be able to do it. Fabio wants to go. Like, we get a good offering for him. We might bottle that transfer now. But if he does stay, I want to give him another chance. I want to.
Yeah, it's interesting that he hasn't even been on the bench or a match day squad. So I think he wants to go. I think the club wants to get rid of him. A loan's not going to cut it this time again. He's got to be sold.
It's those wages, Dave. It's those wages. He's on 80 grand a week.
Yeah, he wants to go to Roma as well. And Dortmund want him, which is surprising me. Speaking to Cheerful Chris, he says it doesn't seem a German club type of player, but I can't see him being here at the end of the transfer window, and I can't see it being a loan. Surely they're going to want to get the money in, but you just don't know, do you? Let's just have a look. I just want to ask the panel how the match went first. Do we need to with Man City game? I think we've covered that in the chat. And not bad. Just looking at it. There's another question about Fabio here. Just looking around down. Another question about Fabio. I think we've covered that off. Let me just go to the bottom here.
While you're looking, Dave, I'll ask George and Sutty. Guedes or Silva, which is the worst ever signing Wolves have made?
Great question.
Both, we've had our pants pulled down and we've lost an absolute ton load of money. We're going to lose a load of money with Silva's sale, as we did with Guedes. You might chuck other players in, but for me, they're two of the worst signings this club have ever made.
I don't think when you look at loan fees for Fabio, we've got quite a few loan fees in, and if we get the 20 million that's being reported, the loss on Fabio won't be anywhere near the loss on Guedes.
Good point.
So I'm going to say Guedes, but I'm also going to say 4 separate managers or head coaches can't all be wrong on their view of Fabio Silva.
Yeah. The other thing,
I'm just going to say,
we do wonder about that. It's like Cheerful Chris was saying, because he's like very close to the German league. He's a big Dusseldorf fan. He spent a lot of time in Germany, and he says it doesn't seem the German type of player. But the one thing is, because of Fabio's depreciation in terms of like his value over his contract, anything above 10 million is positive PSR for us this year.
And well, talking of PSR, Dave, obviously it goes in 3-year cycles, doesn't it? So it doesn't. We paid that 35 million. That's history now. So whatever we get for Fabio now is technically profit.
Anything over 10 million, because his book value 2 years to go on the contract is apparently 10 million. So anything over 10 million is positive PSR on the books. Chris Humphries has got a terminology here. Did the panel think that VP using his terminology in the statement about the club referring to them as they is worrying rather than we? Personally, no, I don't think so. I just think if you're saying they, you say that, like they. You're not going to say we.
Probably the fact English is his first language as well.
Possibly. What's your take on that, Nathan?
No, I think I echo what that point that it isn't his first language. I think it's difficult to work out his inference simply from saying they or us. I think that's a nothing comment for me. I don't read anything into that.
Such any thoughts on that?
No, I think that's just lost in translation almost. It's I don't look into all that language bullshit, to be honest.
That's like cheerful Chris. I bet you're absolutely delighted Tom King's out the door after our conversation last time we were on.
Of course Tom King's gone to Everton.
Yeah.
Do
absolutely fuming, selling all our best players. Why have we sold Tom King? Absolute disgrace.
Do we think that Johnson will be here at the end of the window? Sam Johnson.
Probably, because Burnley have signed a keeper and they were the biggest suitors. And to be honest, though, as much as I don't like him, as much as you don't want to be, he's not a bad backup, is he? He's better than Bentley as a backup.
Well, yeah. Nice.
Expensive backup, though. Really, that was just one of the most bizarre transfers I think we've ever seen from what we needed at the time. We had gaps in the team in central defence and midfield, and then they bought a keeper for 10 million, and we were all flabbergasted. And he was coming in to challenge Sarr as number one. Never happened.
It caused a lot of. I think there was a thought that Sarr might go out to Saudi, but it caused so many problems. And that's another reason probably why bloody Matt Hobbs has gone, for exactly that same reason. Right, final question of the night. Sutty first. Where at this point in time, where we are right now, as in the the 17th of August. Bearing in mind there is 2 weeks of the transfer window still to go, but where we are right now, where are we going to finish this season?
With this current squad, no additions.
Give me a where we're going to finish with this current squad right now, and if we bring in the 3 quality additions, and you can say where they're going to be. If you bring in the 3 quality additions, where you think they should be, where we would finish. So give us the one as it is, and tell me the where you want. We need to bring the strength in, quality, those oven ready players, and where we can finish with if they do that.
As it is now, bottom 3.
Bottom 3, okay.
Yeah, we desperately need a creative midfielder.
Yeah,
we do not create anything, and we don't break the lines, so we need a midfielder.
Yeah,
and we desperately need a natural finisher.
Right.
Someone with pace up front that we
not
can
necessarily
switch.
A number 9. You mean someone in the forward?
Well, I'd like to see an absolute swap, so we can get Strand Larsen off on 60 minutes if it ain't working, and try something completely different. My biggest fear is that Hwang has now decided he wants to fight for his place, so we're going to allow him to fight for his place. Oh, that's incredible to me. Absolutely incredible. That is a dereliction of duty to anybody that's got anything to do with the running and recruitment in this club. Hwang has had half a decent season. He's not good enough. And if we're saying now that Kalajdzic, Hwang and Strand Larsen is our strike force, we're in big trouble. Big trouble. So they've got to get rid of them 2 as well, and get one in as well, a centre forward who's going to. Do you know what it is? I'll take a punt on that young lad from Millwall. He's like a brick.
He's supposed to be really good.
He's like a brick shit house. He's 15 million quid. What are we playing at?
We missed out. We could have had Perez or whatever his name is when he was at Coventry. Remember?
You know what it is?
Yeah,
we never sign. We never sign anyone's ever heard of. We have to go for these like these European players. I mean, do we have 2 English players? We need some English players, not to sound like I love having Portuguese players. Don't be wrong.
Well, you have to technically, as part of your squad, have so many homegrown players, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're English, do they? Go on, Sutty, the next player, and then if we got it in your position, we'll come to you on this, George, before we finish your 12.
Well, like I say, the wing back hasn't officially signed yet. We desperately need someone on that right wing back. We need a creative midfielder, and this is just a bare minimum 3. We need a centre forward, but we could also do with a bit of cover for Totti Gomez at the back.
Yeah, we've got Yerson Mosquera that's obviously coming, but Totti just playing on the left-hand side. So if we got all of that in, where would we finish?
12th, 14th, something like that.
Okay. Same question to you, Nath. How we are now, and if we got the players that you want to get in, or think we need?
Yeah, I think I echo. Sorry, George.
No, carry on. I'm sorry, I'm not listening. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I echo that. I think 18th currently, given the lack of quality. I mean, when Sutty mentioned those front 3, it's scary just how poor our choices are for the man at the helm. If we get the right players in, and again, I don't want to sound like it's a Sutty loving, but I'd sell a couple of those. If we can get rid of Wang and Klajic, why aren't we going for someone like Visser or someone of that quality who we know is going to get 10, 15 goals?
Oh, come on. He won't come to us.
No, he's not going to. I think this season we've got 9 of the 20 teams in the Premier League are in Europe, and I think that doesn't help our cause.
That's
because
another good point, yeah.
The attraction, to those clubs, it's difficult as it is to attract clubs to Wolverhampton. We're a Premier League team, yes, but they know they're coming in for a fight because what's this season going to be? We're already talking about relegation. At best, it's going to be 15th. So, yeah, for me, we need a class striker in. We're not going to get a creative midfielder in. I doubt that very much because they are like gold dust. And I'd also think a centre back because Doherty, for all his skill set, and Mosquera and Boubacara, they're still not fantastic. We still need. Sorry, who am I thinking of? Agbadou. So Agbadou, he hasn't shone so far in the pre-season and the start. But what options have we got at the moment in centre back? I'd like to see another.
I think Yerson Mosquera is a Rolls Royce of a defender. I think he's obviously coming back from a long-term injury. I really like him, and I think he's athletic, he's strong, he can play out. I think he's going to become a really good player for us. I really like Yerson Mosquera, but obviously he's coming back from a long-term injury, which is the concern. So if we get those players in, where we finishing, and as if you get your players in, where we finishing?
Yeah, so 18th as it is. If we get those
relegated,
yeah, I think at best 15th because it feels like we're just sprinkling a bit of glitter onto a turd at the moment. Because we're going to make slight improvements to get up that table. It's miserable. We spoke earlier about the identity of this club and the fact that, we're all fearing the worst. They can't go on doing this season after season because you know what? The bubble's going to burst. I remember Anglo-Italian cup matches at Molineux with 3,000 in the ground. Championship matches, 12,000, 13,000. We'll go back to those days very quickly. These owners will see very quickly how fans get pissed off and just go, you know what, we've had enough of this 800, 900 quid tickets.
If that happens, they'll sell if we go down.
Yeah, but they'll sell at an absolute loss. I wish they should sell now while they've got some money in the game. If they go down, they'll lose an absolute fortune. They should sell now to someone who gives them monkeys about this club and, gets us back to work. Because I'm sick of this. Oh, we're going to finish 15th, 16th. It's just miserable as a fan at the moment to go to games like that. So sorry for ranting, but
we love a rant.
I just get fed up and sick to the teeth.
You know what rants equal? Rants equal views.
We love
Anyway,
a rant. We love a
sorry.
rant.
So yeah, 15th at the very best. But I think we should be going for someone like a Wissa at Brentford who wants to go. We should be going for a top quality striker, not another.
We were linked with Wissa last summer.
We were,
and we didn't get him. George, where are we going to finish with the squad right now? And what players would you want to bring in? And then where we would finish if we got those in? And that's the final. And then we'll have final word, and then we're done. Nearly
Brilliant.
2 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I always try and look at the glass half full. I always try and back the players, because imagine if a player was watching this now and they saw all the fans predict us to go down. How does that make them feel? And I do generally think that we're better than Brentford, we're better than Burnley, and we're better than Leeds. And West Ham losing 3-0 to Sunderland the other day, like, we are better than those sides, in my opinion. And I think we're still probably on a par with Sunderland. However, obviously, they probably have time to make signings, but we also have time to make signings. So I do think we would, with the current crop of players we have, we could still finish around 16th, 17th. In terms of who I bring in, we're linked with Jakob Quivior from Arsenal. I'd definitely take him. Josh Brownhill, a player we've tried to sign in the past. I'd definitely take him as well. Free agent, English, homegrown. Get him in. No reason why not to. And as I said, so definitely a centre-back, definitely a midfielder. I'd probably try and get another right-back in, to be honest. Probably try and get another right-back in, just because I don't think Hoover is good enough. I think he's a good lad.
Well, that's Jackson Tachua, who's going to probably sign tomorrow. He's the right-back,
100%, but do you want Hoover as backup? Because obviously another injury, down to back as Hoover again. So I'll probably try and bring him
you'd have Pedro Lima, wouldn't you? And
of course, yeah. I'll back Pedro Lima, of course. And then I'd probably try and bring in another attacker, someone with a bit of quality, as Sutty said, someone creative, someone who can play that final ball. But yeah, no, as I said, whether we make those signings or not, yet to be seen. Who knows? I can't
see George, as it is now, where are we finishing? If we bring those players in, where are we finishing?
16th. Bring the players in, I said. 13th.
13th. Just in answer to the guy that keeps asking about the bloody Valencia players, let's just put this into context. I had a message. Apparently, Domenico was over looking at a couple of players. One was injured, apparently, and the other one, for whatever reason, didn't work out in terms of personal terms or something like that. So that's all I know. I'm not anywhere in the know or anything like that. It's just that someone who knows someone, Dominique, told me, and they've been right in the past, so there's no reason to dispute that. It's just that one of the players was injured, and the other one, in terms of like whether the club didn't want to come, whether he wanted to come on personal terms, that never materialised. But there's a lot of players that we've been looking at getting in, Poobal and players like that we've been linked with, and then they haven't come and they've gone somewhere else. That can happen. So hopefully that's cleared that one up. Final thoughts, George, Nathan, Sutty. One paragraph. Final thoughts.
Let's all calm down. At the end of the day, it's one game. We played Man City. Who knows, against Bournemouth, we could, show everyone up. And most importantly, just keep backing the boys, because at the end of the day, we've got to back them. And as I said, if you've got any frustrations, don't put it on the manager. Don't put it on the players. We know where the real problem lies.
Nathan?
Good point, George. Yeah, I want to try and grow in optimism as the season goes on, hopefully. Yes, it's Man City, but if we'd have had a better pre-season, I might be a little bit more optimistic going into the next set of games. We've got a much easier start than we had last season. So I think, if we can at least pick up 15 points in those first 10 games, I think that puts us in good stead for the rest of the season. But at the moment, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be key in the transfer window to see how this season goes.
Well said. And Sutty?
No more rinse and repeat. Bottom three by Christmas and spend in January. You do your business right in the summer, you don't have to spend in January. And if you do your business right overall, you add to a successful team. You don't break it up all the time.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, guys, can I thank Sutty?
Just say one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. I've nearly hit 5,000 followers on TikTok. So, guys, if you're not following me already, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop me a follow. I've actually just talked about Wolves. So more. If you've enjoyed me today, then follow. If you haven't enjoyed me, then obviously don't bother. But yeah, really appreciate if you could follow. Got to plug it while I'm on here, Dave. Marketing, you know what I mean? I got a degree in it, so I got to plug it.
Yeah, actually, on that, we're just shy of 10,000 on TikTok. So give Always Wolves a follow on TikTok if you're doing that for George as well. Absolutely brilliant, George. We love you, mate. You just it's a pleasure to have you on. You bring sunshine to the show. What can I say? Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much, Dave. Really appreciate
thanks ever so much to George, to Nathan, and to Sutty for coming on. We're literally 8 seconds off 2-hour show. Thank you for joining us. We've had between 900 and 1,000 on all night, which is amazing across channels. You know, the last thing I will say is like one game against City isn't going to define our season. The next 2 weeks could pull your finger out. Until the next one, always Wolves.